Is that okay, Aditya?
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Anything Law Podcast. Anything Law Podcast, actually, we have changed the name. So this is my co-host Ivan V.
Yes, hello.
And I'm Aakash Rao. So some of you guys may be watching from the formerly known Sportified podcast channel as well as Instagram.
Wow.
So the reason we have done this rebrand is because I know I wanted to get into more general content, and Ivan was interested in having a podcast with me as well. So instead of just starting a whole new one, we decided to build on the base already existing. So what can you expect from Anything Law? It will still be sports centered. We'll be discussing sports every week for sure. But we'll have a rotation of topics to talk about, like current affairs, art history, the political climate. Of course, we try not to be too edgy, but yeah, we're going to be talking about a variety of things. So you guys can look out for that. And most of all, it'll be relatable content for all the fellow Poly JC kids out there. So yeah, you guys especially should tune in. Anything for you to add on?
Yes, and our podcast name is Anything La. Where everything that we say or anything that we say will be most relatable to you guys.
Yes. So let's dive straight in. We are going to stick on the sports theme with this week in sports. So we will be discussing the current hot topics, which are the El Clasico, the Champions League final, and the Europa League final. So for this week, we'll be discussing football, but in future or other weeks, we may be discussing boxing or F1. Of course, I follow all these sports intensely. Maybe Ivan mostly follows football, but we'll try to keep it light and not too technical. Yeah. So let's start off with El Clasico. So Ivan is a well-known Real Madrid fan, so maybe this is not a great game for him.
Hello Madrid! Yeah, our producer is a bit on the banter. Yeah, I'm a Madrid fan ever since 2019, something like that.
You want to tell them the reason why you're a Madrid fan?
Because I'm a Ronaldo fanboy.
He said himself a fan.
Yeah, of course, and I watched the game, and defense is pretty shit.
I can't lie, you guys are getting penetrated, man.
Pretty shit.
Assaulted, molested, everything.
Sorry for bad language, but it's pretty shit. And I think it's one of the worst times I have to endure as a football fan, as a Madrid fan.
But talking about having to endure stuff, what do you think about Mbappe's hat trick? This is his second hat trick, which I watched live, that he scored and still his team lost somehow. So what do you think about that?
I guess when it comes to Mbappe scoring hat tricks when it's important, but at the end fails to deliver the ideal result, he's the one to do it. World Cup final, 3-3 hat trick, but
don't you think it's more of a case of him being let down? I would say the defense. If I'm not wrong, Ceballos collided with him. He was the one having the ball, and that led to the third goal or fourth goal of Barcelona.
Something like that, yeah.
So, personally, I'm quite a huge Mbappe fan. I watch him live in the World Cup. He's quite the generational talent, and he's had a very good season. He scored the most goals for Madrid in a debut season, even more than Ronaldo. If I'm not wrong, it's 39. So that's quite a lot of goals.
Even though I'm a Madrid fan, sometimes you have to watch games with your eyes. And yes, he has scored more than Ronaldo in his debut season. But you have to think, Ronaldo has to compete with that star-studded team. Yes, same with Mbappe, but not as as crazy and as phenomenal team as the one in 2009, was it?
That is true.
Right?
Kaká,
R9 was there as well. Kaká was there. Kaká Ballon d'Or winner as well. So not easy at all, right? And Mbappe, I guess he has a fair challenge, right? He has Vinny on his side, Rodrigo on his side.
But I feel the media portrayal of him is flawed. But silently, he's been on a scoring spree. And I think next season under Xabi Alonso with that 3-4-3 system, France play with the 3-back system. So I think he's going to play exceptionally well.
Definitely I think. But now in the Ancelotti system, I think he's more of a free roaming striker, right? He's just out there on top, just trying to find pockets of space, right? And I don't think that was his gameplay in PSG, was it? Right?
Yeah.
He was just more of a left wing central, just there looking for opportunities to score, right? And I think that was what he excelled in. And in Madrid, he doesn't have that kind of role. And
who do you buy to be Mbappe's support striker? Would you back Endrick or would you get someone from Bayer Leverkusen?
Support striker, okay.
Because in France as well, Olivier Giroud played that role very well. We don't know if Xabi Alonso is going to stick to 3-4-3 or he make it 3-5-2. That could be possible.
Oh, the striker part, I haven't really thought about it. But if you're talking about Endrick, I don't think he's ready for a big stage. Do you think so?
Personally, he crashed out. I remember he scored a late winner or equalizer once, but I'm not seeing anything beyond that, which tells me he's an exceptional talent yet. He is talented, but in terms of actually doing it on the big stage, I don't think he's there yet.
He's very young still, so I mean,
he has time. He does have time.
There's a lot of room for improvement. Still.
What about Arda Güler? A lot of people think he'll be a huge part for next season.
I quite like his play style because his technical ability is very good.
Yeah, because there are two camps, Brahim Diaz and Arda Güler are the ones who are like in form right now, the informed youngsters. So I think one of them will get a chance.
Yeah, I think they're good, but definitely I think under Xabi Alonso, I think they might be the next birds maybe. Right?
That's true. Do you think?
We'll see.
So what do you think of Xabi Alonso being the manager itself?
Oh, I think it's definitely an upgrade from Ancelotti. I mean, right now Ancelotti's I don't hate him, and I don't I'm not like an Ancelotti out kind of guy, right? But I'm just sick of just playing as a squad with no tactics, because that's Ancelotti's approach.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a very in-depth tactics, board for the players to play for, right? It's just based on
like
their individual abilities. And I get that lah. If you're a professional player, right? You want to play your style, and I want to play my style, and we both excel together. I guess that's his mindset. But for me, watching as a fan, maybe not as well.
But it's very surprising that it's gone stale at Madrid. I feel the correct word to use for Madrid is stagnated, because I feel that they were quite an exceptional team last season, and the season they won the Champions League. So it's quite surprising to see that despite all these big names, they are struggling to find inspiration in terms of on the pitch. On the pitch, a lot of drama, of course. Ancelotti, he was being tipped to leave for Brazil like years ago, and then finally it came. And then now Alonso also has been confirmed as new manager. You have Trent coming in next season. Rodrigo, he's thrown a fit. He wants to leave. Apparently, we don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I mean, Rodrigo was really one of my favorite players. But I mean, it's sad to see him go. Definitely sad to see him go. But I guess that's how Madrid operates now.
I don't think he will go to I think he might head to the Premier League. I don't think there are any other teams who can really afford him other than maybe PSG. But other than that, I think he'll be a very, very big
signing. I can see him at Chelsea.
I think Arsenal might sign him.
Arsenal has Saka though.
Yeah, they do have Saka, but of course they can convert Rodrigo to play as cam or as a left winger. I think the left wing spot is where they're struggling right now. Martinelli.
Oh, that's true.
Martinelli is when he produces, he's a very, very exceptional talent. But he's either injured or off form this season. And an interesting stat you may not know is every time Martinelli has scored, Arsenal have won or drawn. He has never lost a game which he has scored.
Really? That's interesting.
So I think he would be a good bench option. I think Trossard maybe might leave. He's been a class player last season, but this season not really seen the same. I think Arsenal would be a good option. Man City, but they have a lot of forwards. They don't really need him. I think Chelsea, like you said, will be probably the most likely.
Maybe.
Because they are constantly signing new people, and he is a marquee signing. So let's move on to the Champions League final. A bit of an unexpected one. Inter Milan vs PSG. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Inter, they have been known to play terrorist football, right? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Inter, but I mean, the way they played against Barca was really something only Jose Mourinho could do. Jose Mourinho could do. I think that was what reminded me of how they played lah. And wow.
But
what a game.
I would say Inzaghi, it's not really. I think the terrorist football has kind of subsided at Inter. I know last time they were, but Inzaghi is playing a more free-flowing way of football. But it's a lot of counter-attacking, like you say, like a Jose Mourinho kind of mindset, but it's not as defensive. And I think he really deserves a lot of credit because he made the 2023 Champions League final as well, the one City won for the treble, unfortunately. And this is second in 2 or 3 years, which is a really good stat. He's an exceptional coach.
Crazy, yeah.
Surprisingly, he's still at Inter. I would have imagined someone like a big European giant would have snapped him up by now, but he's still there. So it'll be interesting to see if he can win it. But PSG are looking really unstoppable right now.
Yeah, PSG, very good, very good side now. And coming up against a strong defensive side like Arsenal, right? They could score. What was the score again? 4-1 was it?
I think 4-1 on aggregate.
4-1 on aggregate, right? Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think Ousmane Dembele has been a huge game changer. We always knew he had this in him, but he was always injured or off form or some of the other excuse. He was like a playboy at Barca. But under Luis Enrique, he has really switched it on. And I think if he wins the Champions League, he wins the Ballon d'Or. Because despite Salah's impressive season, Liverpool have only won the Premier League. PSG would have won the treble. And despite all the Prem fans saying, oh, League One barely counts as a league, or the French Cup shouldn't count, it's still a trophy. It'll still appear on your Wikipedia page. So personally, I think even the Ballon d'Or is a French organization. I think they'll give it to him.
So I guess so. I mean,
That was a producer with the horrible sound effects.
sorry for our producer is a bit sped. Yeah.
Oh.
The definition of sped is you guys can look
Yeah,
up that.
our producer.
Look up the definition of sped. SPED, and that is all that. Yeah.
Let's move on to the Europa League final. From his team to my team, Man United, as some of you may know. And honestly, I have no clue how we have made it to the Europa League final. We've been exceptional in Europe. I mean, Amorim was already on form with Sporting in the Champions League. Then he made quite the questionable decision to move over to us. And Tottenham as well, despite being so ass in the league, terrible, disgusting style of football, they have lost 20 games. 20 games, that's more than half of their games, and they're 7 teams, and they're still made the Europa League final. So question for you is, has the new format of European football, the league phase thing, made it easier for underdogs to advance? Has it? Because we are underdogs.
You mean the league system, right?
Yeah, the new league system.
Underdogs. I would say yes.
Football-wise speaking,
I'll
this
say
season, United and Tottenham are the underdogs. Of course, we are more well-financed, we have the higher sport value, etc.
Yeah.
But against teams like Athletic Bilbao, Lyon, who are performing decent in their leagues, they may not be like the top 4 because obviously it's the Europa League, right? But still, they're doing considerably better than us. So, what do you think about that?
Well, regarding your question on if underdogs perform better in this league system rather than the group system, right? Like previous years. I mean, I would say that yes, because in this league system, how they do things is they just face one team at one time, right?
Yeah.
They face across like 8 teams, was it? Yeah. So I think it's very easy for them to not say do it over 2 leagues, right? Because I mean,
The old system is
if
you're doing going home and away. The new system, you're facing 8 teams.
Yeah,
8 different.
away
It
and
can be
home.
home. Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
I mean, it really depends because I think underdog teams they can just have that snap. They can just have that snap and just change into
With the home advantage.
Yeah, with that home advantage or even away, right? They can. If their coach is so good and if the team they can play at a very high level. Just that I don't know. You know underdog teams they just tend to. Sometimes, right, they just outperform, right?
Yeah,
They just outperform.
just send for it,
Yeah,
try
just
for it.
Try for
And
it.
especially in the Champions League, Liverpool got knocked out early, their
Yeah.
favourites. So earlier there was no round of 32 qualifying thing
Yeah.
for round of 16, but now there is because of how the league format is. So now I think it's easier for favourites to be knocked out early. Like Liverpool, they were first, they went undefeated. But then in their round of 16 tie, they get PSG, who sneak their way into that tie just because they were from, they were 8 to 24. They sneaked into the top 24 in the first place, and then after that they knocked out Liverpool. despite being so-called underdog. Like at that time, no one was hyping up PSG as they are now.
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, oh, PSG deserve to win, they've been the best team, etc. But at that time, we didn't know how good Luis Enrique's PSG was.
I guess underdogs, you can say they have nothing to lose,
Mm.
while big teams have more to lose because let's say they see a team that is, you can say decent opposition, right? You would want to rest your star players ahead of that fixture, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you face that underdog team where they are playing their first 11, their best team of 11 players, and you never know, they can just outshine your players.
Yeah, that is
right?
true.
So I mean, this is how underdog teams, I guess they succeed lah. Yeah, and I mean I wouldn't call PSG an underdog team, but
But in terms of
not
where
in
they,
as
where they
performance,
finished,
yeah.
you know where they finished in the Champions League, I think they were 23rd, they were 20 something. So
Yeah.
they just squeaked their way through, they won their qualifying round thing. Then after that they were in round 16, and then Liverpool, despite finishing so high, got such a good team. So in the old format, I don't think we would have seen such styles.
Definitely.
I think it would be more lenient towards a team like Liverpool who finished
Definitely.
so high.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing because you are giving, despite everyone's claims that the new format is for monetary gains, you're giving the smaller teams a better chance while you're challenging the bigger teams as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing. And another good thing I really like is the away goal rule has been abolished. I know last
So
time
boring, that was so boring.
last time it was kind of fun where you score an away goal but it's equalizer, but actually you go through because it's an away
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
But now that fun is taken away, but at the same time you have a much more level playing field. So teams won't just go for the equalizer, they're going for the winner. Like we saw the Barca Inter, both teams were just going end to end, trying to find a winner. They were not playing to do the penalty shootout. So I think that's a really good thing we got from the new set of Champions League rules.
And that is
Yeah.
found the back of the net lah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. On to the next.
Let's move on to the ending topic of the week. This is a more chill section. We'll be debating a topic.
Sure.
And we'll be moving on to this week's topic, which is Poly vs JC culture.
Poly vs JC culture. I mean, we are poly students, right?
So we can't really speak on first-hand basis about
Yeah,
JC
but I
culture.
mean, we do have friends in
JC.
right? Yeah.
So personally, I think both ways are decent ways for you to move on to further education. I'm a bit biased in saying that I would advocate for I'll recommend poly to any student, even if you're a top student, because if you have something that you're interested in, let's say let's say computer science, and you're going to do this, instead of going to JC and you have to take mandatory, you have to take maths, physics, computing, and then econs. Why are you taking these extra subjects when you can just focus on computing? You can use the extra, poly is quite chill. You can use the extra free time when you're not studying for your modules or doing assignments. You can use the extra free time to build your portfolio. And like for things like computer science, in terms of jobs and university, right? Experience is key, skill is key. So even if you are a 4.0 graduate and then you go into the work field and you do the lead code interview and you fail it, you're not going to get a job.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to code. You just got by memorizing code, but in terms of when you put you in a present situation, can you code? Yeah, you can't. So I think that is why I would personally advocate poly life. It's a bit more chill and it gives you things you can use in the real world.
Well, to be honest, I mean, coming from a poly student and many of my friends are JCs, right? I think it really comes down to what you're really aiming for. Yes, JC has an easier path to a university, right? But at the same time, it comes with the price of your life being not as balanced as poly students. I think poly students have a more balanced lifestyle, I wouldn't say chill, because I wouldn't say chill, I wouldn't say slack, but a really balanced lifestyle where you have time for your friends, and you have time for your studies, right? I mean, unless you still have that kind of secondary school mindset in your head that, I just want to score well for every single test. Because I mean our producer has got a 4.0, right? Because he still has that kind of secondary school scoring A's mindset, right? But I think that's good.
Perfectly fine. It depends on what you're going.
Yeah, but I think my producer would fit better in the JC culture because he's always striving for excellence. Which I mean I read that, but for me as well, I mean I'm not really striving for excellence. I don't think you are as well, right?
I think mine is more of like a holistic approach. I would
Yeah.
I would love to do well in my studies, but every time I get an A, there is no like personal elation or
Yeah.
overwhelming satisfaction that I scored an A for this, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that yes, whatever effort I put in has resulted in an A.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm happier when I'm doing things like I performed in a concert in January
Yeah.
and you were there attending. I would say I was more happier after that concert
Yeah.
because I put in months of effort in that and I learned instruments. I was a percussionist, but I necessarily didn't play like the snare drum or I didn't play this instrument or that instrument before the concert. And then I played it, then I was decent. I did make mistakes, but in the end, I put on a decent performance. Better than what I thought I could before I did this concert, and that provided me with more of satisfaction than, let's say, a single A.
Yeah.
So that's something I think, like if you prioritize having an enriched life with holistic growth, not just aiming to climb the social ladder, then I think poly is for you. But of course, JC students, they have their CCA. I know a lot of friends who are more passionate about the CCA than maybe I am, and they're enjoying it. But I feel it's very intensive, where the CCA is forced upon them. You don't have to take a CCA in poly. In JC, you have to take a CCA, and you have to go for every session. And in some JCs, I don't want to name drop. I know a friend who pays to go be in a CCA.
Pays to be in a CCA.
It's a performing arts CCA, and they have to pay to be a member because they claim commitment costs.
I know that one.
Yeah, and really that just sucks the life and joy out of being in the CCA, And it's that thing dreading CCA sessions, which is not the point of the MOE when they have created the CCA system.
And I think that JC students are just overly cramped and they're extremely
Yeah, the time is so less.
Yeah,
People claim, you finished it 2 years ago. It's not 2 years. It's 16 months
It's not-
of cramming.
it's
and
not
then you have
as
4
easy.
months of revision. Then you do your test.
Yeah.
Then for NS people, you're sent off to NS.
Yeah.
And for the girls, you have your break. They'll do some internship, and then you just have to wait for your A-levels. So it's like a very robotic process, I would say.
It's a very systematic process, but yeah, I like.
And it's a time crunch situation.
I think JC you're still under that kind of. I give you orders, you do it well, and I'll give you the result. I think it's still in that kind of system, which in
It suits some people because some people need that that order to
And
be disciplined in their own life.
Singapore, I mean, it is mentioned in politics as well. Singapore education is training you to be civil servants. I give you an order, you execute it well, and I give you a promotion, right? For example, like in the civil servant field in the industry, right? For example, you are a lieutenant, right?
Yeah.
You execute an order that is given by higher ups, right?
Finish your project well.
You finish a overseas exchange, like big project, between two militaries, and then I give you a promotion and you become chief of defense and stuff like that. I think Singapore is still trying to have that kind of mindset, but I mean it's good, right? It trains good employees, but it doesn't train good employers with good innovation mindset.
But Singapore, in a sense, is a meritocracy. So I think that's why a lot of people still prefer JC because it provides them with like a fixed acceleration where there's like a clear pathway. You finish your A-levels, if you do well, you can go to a good uni course. And you do good uni course, you can get a good job.
So
I think they prefer
It's a very
that.
safe
Yeah,
route.
they prefer that safety and security rather than poly. It depends. If you slack off, your GPA not good, you can't make it to uni.
Yeah,
And even if you do get a job, you may get less pay because of your GPA. People claim employers don't look at GPA, but come on, of course they do.
yeah. But I mean, I think poly is very independent lifestyle.
Yeah.
Whereas in JC, you still have a group of friends. Yes.
There are lecturers, if you
Yeah.
play game in class, if you don't listen, they don't care. You use phone in class, they don't care.
It's
In
a
JC,
very-
there's still an element of care. I've heard of there are two types of lecturers in JC, like those who don't care, like in poly, and those who are like very serious, make sure everyone listens to the lesson. And I like those kind of teachers because it makes me focus. But at the same time, sometimes if they don't teach well or they're spoon feeding you, it's really you're just regurgitating knowledge back onto your exam paper. You're not learning anything truly. But to be the devil's advocate here, I feel like maybe I've been a bit too biased to the poly system. I think the JC system has a lot of merit in terms of there's an internationally recognized certificate, you have the A-levels,
Yeah.
you have a wide range of subjects, you can choose from subject combinations. Like a lot of top JCs like JC, you have very flexible subject combination. So you can pick what you're interested in, and more importantly, you are learning a lot of in-depth knowledge that you would not learn, like a lot of in-depth theory that you would not learn in a poly or a private uni or something.
I wouldn't say so lah, but
I mean,
they cover
the H2 computing, right? Let's give an example. H2 computing, you learn a lot of theory that we may not learn in poly, but we learn a lot of practical skills and coding and stuff, and we're very versatile in terms of the curriculum that you will not get in the JC H2 subject.
Yeah, and I think one key difference in JC and poly is, I mean, in poly we are given opportunities, right, to join competition or join talks and stuff like that. It really opens up your eyes. It really opens up your mindset to many different things. Because I don't think our life is just going to be surrounded in what is in Singapore, right? I think our life and your life as well, right, is meant to be much more than that.
Yeah.
Right? I think people are too limited. Their eyesight is too limited to just, I just want to do well in Singapore, I just want to get an ETO and I just want to settle down in Singapore, and that's it. There isn't much.
Nothing wrong with that. There's like a
nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think there is so much more to life.
There's a lot of experiences,
There's
a lot of experiences which can enrich your life. Like you do something and then you will never know that, actually I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, but and I think that's how poly changes your eyes lah.
Yeah, I think it makes you grow up faster because you're left on your own.
Yeah, and GC, I mean, sorry for not putting it in a better way, but you're just in a cage. You're just in a cage, right? You're being fed every single day, nicely, well, and stuff like that. And you just have to.
So what you say about RI, they have their talent development program, they have research programs. So there are a lot of JCs with a lot of opportunities. And what would you say about that? Because they are really I mean schools. There are really schools that try to give you holistic growth. Not all JCs 100%. Like the funding is not there, or they just don't. They prefer to focus on academics. But there are schools which focus on holistic growth as well.
Could you give an example?
Yeah, like I said, RI, they have their talent development program. They have research programs, A-star collaboration, where you will not get that in any other school. You will not get that in poly. And there are RI really, because of the name and the brand it has around it, you have a high chance of going to Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. Just simply because you're from RI. You still take the same A levels. You are still the same 90 RP scorer. But then if you compare that to a 90 RP scorer from ACJC, who is going to get into Harvard?
I think that's what is very backward looking still. Because how I see things is, in the future, right, it really depends on PvP, player versus player. If I have skills that are better than yours, I will get into the company that I want to go to. It doesn't and get into a uni that I want to or things like that. But at the end of the day, people still keep talking about getting that degree. And I believe that next time, in our generation, right, we are 17 or 18, right? Actually, you're 18, I'm 17. I think we will not really have to rely on our degree as much as what our parents used to.
Because a degree is very common now.
Yeah,
so everyone can get a degree.
Yeah.
Whether it's from a private university, it's not so good, or you can get it from a well-known university like NUS or NTU. But there's still in computer science and very common degrees, there's still thousands of people competing with you. So you really need something more than just a degree to make yourself unique. Yes, a degree is a basic requirement, so you can't really get by as fast or as quickly in your life if you don't have a degree. But at the same time, I think it's not enough in terms of if you want to really enrich your life and progress quicker, you just aiming for the NUS degree is not good.
And I think you talk about RI, they are this kind of programs that focus on their holistic development, right? It will never ever be as much as how poly prepares their students in terms of holistic development and in terms of giving them opportunities to go and try things out. Because JC, what they really focus is academics, right?
Yeah.
And I think in poly is what they focus is more on our soft skills, our hard skills, or whatever kind of skills, right? That will be very, very useful next time.
I would
that's a big
agree.
difference.
I would agree because this semester especially we are learning modules which you can literally use in a real job like software engineering,
Yes.
where you're learning about like different software methodologies to complete a project, and that kind of thing is if you're a JC student you will only learn it in uni, or you will learn it after uni, which is a bit too late.
Yeah. And I also have a friend actually. He scored 276 for PSLE.
Wow.
Out of 300, right?
Oh my god.
Incredibly smart guy. He's my cousin actually. He's not my friend, sorry. Sadly, I didn't get the kind of genetics that's passed on. But well, I think that is maybe a blessing in disguise, and I don't complain about that because back then, when he got that score, I was like, wow. I was like, shit, that's insane. I want to be like him, right? But now that I look at things, he went into IB program, right? IP program, right?
Oh.
Sorry. So he did not take O levels. Right now he's gonna take his A levels soon, but I see him still going around. I mean he's very locked in his academics, yes, sure, and he's in ACS by the way. Yes, his school does give him this kind of opportunities to take part in competition.
So it's the IB program.
IP,
Isn't ACSI international?
not international. It's not international. It's in IP.
Mm.
The one that has no O levels, just straight to A levels. Yeah, and that one, I mean, he's very gifted. Honestly, he's very gifted, and he takes part in this kind of competition and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's benefiting as much as us because he's not getting as much hands-on practice as us. That's
And all these PSLE high scholars, right?
Yeah.
The PSLE is meant to be is not like the O levels or A levels where you're given a fixed syllabus and you're tested only on the syllabus. They're passing papers, they will just they copy paste the questions from some papers.
Yeah.
And it's literally, I remember physics O level MCQ, I saw 2 or 3 questions in a row which is from the same paper. And I was like, oh my god, how lucky am I? I did this paper yesterday. But you see, that's like not the point of learning. PSLE is more like an IQ test in the sense where they test your, they give you the theory and then they give you like a question with a twist and then see whether you can apply your theory to that. And these kind of high scorers, they're very bright. They are bright minds, they're very creative minds. And then I feel that when you put them in a system like this, it kind of limits their creativity to just simply trying to be the best. And that kind of like squashes their spark, for life and for learning.
But on that note, I would like to ask, would you abolish the PSLE system? Would you not let them take PSLE straight away?
I feel PSLE is a needed gateway, but it should not be as high pressure as everyone makes it out to be. Like it should be less of a stressful thing. It should be easier.
You're saying PSLE should be easier.
Yeah, but it should still be and like the parents themselves should not take it so seriously. The school should not take it so seriously. Because it should just be like a way to filter yourself into different streams, and now there's no more streams also. You're taking like a combination. The NA people are taking Express English and all that. So it's just a way to filter yourself into different secondary schools. So it should not be like a high pressure situation where if you do terribly for PSLE your life is over. You should be given like second chances and stuff, which is what I think the new direction is, where you can take express subjects even if you're an MA student, and if you score well you can get promoted to express for all your subjects, which is a really good concept.
I see. But the new streaming system is you score something like that and then you go to a specific stream first, right?
Yeah, it's
G2, right?
G3, G2, G1.
Yeah,
So if I'm not wrong, G3 is express. Yeah. So then let's say you get into G2, you score higher than 20.
Okay.
But let's say your bad score is in math and science, but your English and mother tongue you do very well.
Yeah.
Then you can take express mother tongue, express English.
But you'll still be in the same class, right?
The classes are mixed. It's not an any class anymore. So it's like for example my brother, he's in that system. So his class has NA people, express people, NT people, or G3, G2, G1. So they only do like CCE assembly together, all those like common things, normal things. And then they split up for various classes. Like my brother and another of his friend express, but they will go into different math classes based on their abilities.
Okay.
I think that's also a nice. It's showing that we are moving in the right direction in terms of
I guess so.
not making PSLE the end or O level the end.
Yeah, I guess so.
Once you mess up, it's over.
I think people keep saying that they don't know what to do in their life, right? And then they just go into JC. I think that's a very bad downward turn, right? Like it's downward slope from that. Because firstly you don't know what to do. That's really a big red flag, right? About your goals, your ambitions, and what you want to do in life.
But some people are just not sure, man.
But I guess
like they know the gist of it. They know, I want to do like a science degree.
But
I want to do engineering degree.
you going to JC is just gonna worsen things, isn't it? Right? Because you are putting even more stress that you are getting in secondary school. How else are you gonna think about what you want to do? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, an individual has no time to think about this kind of thing when he's so cramped up and so overworked by this JC system.
Yeah.
It is so crazy, and then once that 2 years is over, they come up with their perfect A-level score. At the end of the day, they still don't know what to do.
A lot of like ERP people just end up going to medicine just for their reputation. They don't have a passion for seating.
And
they have never done a medical
lies.
attachment. They will still end up going.
And that's where the problem lies in. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think JC is good. Definitely is good when you need that kind of order, you need that kind of discipline.
Or you're just academically inclined.
Yeah.
You don't have the interest to do hands-on
Yeah.
stuff. You're just really good at the theory stuff.
Yeah,
you just want to go there. You want to do well.
And some people just don't have that kind of social stamina to no social battery to even like talk to.
Do presentation, do group work.
Because I think poly is a very networking driven school. You know what I mean? Like college is like that. You're meant to network with people, you're meant to socialize with people, right? And I think that I am fit for that because I'm more, I would say, extroverted rather than introverted.
I would say I'm an ambivert, but in poly, especially my extroverted side has come out more.
You were both.
Thanks, man.
So
I made a lot of friends that, in JC, I don't think I would have made I wouldn't have made even 1/4 of the friends I made in poly. And I can guarantee you that because I would have been so focused on trying not to fail a subject that I don't like physics. Like I've never had the passion for physics, but if I want to take computing, physics, computing, math, econs is the logical combination. Then I'm forced to take physics, and I've never been good at maths, or rather, I never had the interest in maths. And because of that, as my interest slowly dwindled, my ability to catch up also dwindled. And because of that, I'll be forced to take H2 math just so that I can go to uni and do a computer science course. And that's something avoidable. That's why I think poly is perfect for me. Let me tell you a fun fact. Till Sec 4 March maybe, I didn't even consider poly. I was so sure I'm going to JC. Then March,
many of
then March around there, I was interested in media. And I did research and I was interested in a diploma course on story content and creation. And but then my parents kind of talked to me, and then they asked me to do more research, go in depth, and I realized that well, it's nice to have a hobby like content creation, hobby like sport. Doing a diploma in it may not be the most conducive thing, especially in Singapore where there's a lack of art scene. It's very hard. It's either MediaCorp or one of the smaller entertainment firms, and the jobs are very limited here. You may have to move overseas. So I thought, what, I'm doing well in computing. I took all of computing. Why not I just do something that I'm good at? I may not be the most passionate about it, but I'm interested. I'm definitely more interested than more other subjects. And then I ended up doing a diploma in that. So,
but you got into computing not out of passion, right? But you just happened to bounce on it, isn't it?
Yeah, for computing, the O-level computing, I ended up taking it because I missed triple science by 1 mark. So I just chanced upon it.
I think in life, I think it's better to touch everything. You just try and touch on everything. For example, for me, right, in Sec 3 and Sec 4, I have no ambitions, I don't know what to do, I have no passion in anything, right? And when people talk about what hobbies do you have, what passion do you have, first thing you think about is sports, right? But sometimes in sports, it's so competitive that you need to get 0.1% to outshine people.
And watching sports
It's
is very
crazy.
watching sports as a
Yeah.
hobby is very different from playing it. You can watch, you can know all the technicalities, like I know what the offside rule is, I know what a good pass should look like, I know what it should look like.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually playing on field, I'm ass. Sorry to put it that way, but I'm ass.
No, but I mean it's not about that. But I think passion is one thing, right? But
actually being good at it is a different thing.
correct. That I think is a very big defining factor. For example, in Sec 3 and Sec 4, right? I mean, I have no ambitions, I have nothing, but I chanced upon a friend doing business, right? I wouldn't call business a passion, right? But the things that he is doing for that business, that's a skill, that's a passion, and whatever you can say about it, whatever. So he asked me to join in for his marketing agency, right? And I was like, what the fuck is that? So what the fuck is that, right? So after that, I told him, yo, what is this business opportunity that he's trying to ask me to come into, right? Then he told me just search out, and then after that I went home, I searched out on things like that. Then I was thinking that, it's a content creation kind of agency, right? So you're helping people, you're helping your clients film content, direct them and give them content just for them to film or for us to film and then help them publish it online and then get that kind of eyeballs on their brand. And to me, that at the point I didn't know how to do it. That it wasn't because I didn't have passion, but it was because I'm not good at it. I'm unfamiliar with it. I'm not good at it. So, I mean, he just said, why not just give it a shot? Then I was like, fine, Sec 3, Sec 4. I mean, I didn't have anything to do up to Sec 4. Then I was like, okay, let's go, let's give it a shot, right? And then we did, and then we have our first client and stuff like that. And we get our first paycheck and we start to think, hey, maybe we can
pursue a career in this.
Maybe our skill really is there already, but it's not as good and we have to keep polishing it. And then one thing leads to another, and sometimes you don't have to wait for a skill to come calling for you, right? For example, computing, you just accidentally bounced onto it and you're not super passionate about it, but you become good at it. So that's the thing. So I think that
I would say I'm not the best. I'm not like a computing nerd. I'm not a super good coder. But in terms of the theory and the actual subject itself, like all the modules, I would say I do have an interest and I'm able to pick it up very quickly. Which is not the same, I would say, as about like scientific chapters. I remember in secondary school, I would just be thinking, what in the world is this? I would just, I'll read it and it doesn't process because I'm not interested. It sounds so boring and lifeless, and I cannot connect to it on like on a sort of in mental level or emotional level. But in terms of computers, like it's interesting to me. I want to know how the computer works. I want to know how to code and create a web app. When I create a website, I'm super gassed because, oh my god, this is something I made, And so the creative aspect of it is what I would say I'm more drawn to.
Okay.
So I'm a very creative person, I'm creating content. I play music. I used to write a blog. Now I don't know why I stopped actually, but I think I just lost the passion for writing. Not as much. Last time I was like a huge writing fan. I used to read a lot of books. So I'm a very creative person, So I applied that in computing, which is a more like problem-solving technical work, and that is what makes me like so engaged in this.
So that
field.
The passion grew.
Exactly. It grew because I'm applying something I already have passion for into a new world, and it just the interest grew gradually, and I realized, okay, this is something I'll not like feel like killing myself every day if I had to do this as a job, It's not like a soul-sucking job.
But for me, I came into IT. It was also by chance. I couldn't get into business course because that time I was so fond, also passionate about business, right? But I just couldn't get it. I think I put it as my first choice or something, but I didn't get it. Right? Like it was a JEE application, and I didn't get it, and I landed in this Comma ICT course. And I was like, what the fish, man? What the fish, fish. And I was
our producers are very adverse against
that. I was kind of
considerate.
I was kind of disappointed.
I don't know shit.
I was kind of disappointed.
I have a funny story about this actually, about you.
Really?
So I remember the first week, right? we were at Makerspace and MIT.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing about course, and there was another friend of ours, Braden, who has transferred course actually. He's
Yeah.
saying, okay, I'm going to transfer to science because actually, when I think about it, I want to do science. Then this guy was saying, let me transfer to fintech.
Yeah.
Then I was like, brother, do you realize that you can get through into fintech through commonality? It's the same modules and everything.
I did. No, I knew.
Okay.
I knew.
And
about
then
it.
this guy,
Just that I just want to quicken the process. I didn't want to
Yeah.
go through the complexity. I just want to secure my place in that.
okay, but at that time, your answer to me was really young. Then I was like, bro,
Really?
you see the website and check, and you read, and all the modules are the same. It's just that you will end up in fintech at the end of the year. Then turns out, over the course of the year, we discussed a lot about what course we're going to go into, and it ends up we both went to cybersecurity. My initial idea for going, I did EAE here. I EAE to commonality. My initial idea was I'll go into fintech. But the problem was I didn't know if fintech is 100% what I'm interested in. So I decided to go into a common course. There are a variety of mods. I can see which mod I do well in. I do well in information security and networking. And I realized, okay, I'm good at this. I'm good at the theory aspect of it. Fintech is very saturated right now. So maybe let me try something like cybersecurity. It's going to be challenging, but I can try it out.
But you are quite the opposite of me. I think you would like to go into things that you're very, very good at.
Yeah.
But sometimes you bounce on things and then you suddenly become good at. For me, I think it has always been working on what I'm not good at. I think it has always been there because of course I love business, right? I love business, I love fintech.
But you still chose cyber.
I still chose cyber because I think that was it's a growing field, definitely, right? But I feel that the first point is business fintech. It was what I knew already.
Yeah.
From running a business, I don't think you can get more experience
Than that,
right?
Yeah, it's real life.
Yeah. So and secondly is I think working on things that I'm not good at. I mean, of course, I'm not very good at cybersecurity things. I'm not very good at networking and stuff. But I'm willing to put in the time for that. And that's why I went to cybersecurity.
Yeah, and
I
job,
love that decision.
job prospects, I think that was the key thing which sold both of us.
I guess so.
Yeah, because right now, I think cybersecurity is like a huge potential field in Singapore.
Yeah,
with AI and all that.
Yeah.
So you really need a lot of cybersecurity
you need
professionals.
cybersecurity,
So
yeah,
definitely that's a key reason as to why we chose this.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up with a quick fire round. So I'll give you a headline, and you have to give me your reaction within one sentence. And maybe after that, I'll give you a follow-up question.
One
So,
sentence.
Yeah. So Lion City Sailors have made it to the Champions League 2 final, and they're expanding their Bishan Stadium just because it didn't meet the requirements of the Asian Champions League, and they're going to face Sharjah FC on 18th of May.
The sentence would be: football in Singapore is growing well.
I was 100% going to bring that up if you didn't bring it up because football is a huge sport in Singapore in terms of following it. A lot of people watch it, but in terms of actually playing the sport, we're not that good. But right now, I would say we're in a good place now.
I would say we are good, but there is a ceiling on that.
No, but come on, we are not like Japan and Korea. They are also smaller Asian nations.
Which
We
is
should
why-
not be good at football, but they are really good.
No,
They're
but-
going to the World Cup.
I don't feel that it's because Singapore has that kind of scene last time, right? Because I told you, like, everyone was so focused on academics, doing so well and getting a degree. Who would care about this kind of sports, right?
That's true though.
So you have to kind of think that with this kind of mindset in place, Singapore's holistic development is not going to go far. And right now we have so many opportunities in Singapore, right? That you can just go into sports and you can get this kind of trials and play for the U21 team, under 17, and that kind of development for youth teams are going so well. I mean, we definitely have friends right now.
Yeah.
Professional teams. I have a friend in Geylang. Geylang's U21 team, right? I think he has started just playing football, yes, at a young age, but he wasn't very good at it. But under this kind of youth development teams set up by Singapore, I think it's absolutely a good initiative, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the fact that they put in effort to expand the Bishan Stadium, and the ticket prices are also very reasonable for students, and I think it's a good move because if you don't put in the effort to host these kind of huge matches in Singapore, then it will never happen. Like
Support local, right?
yeah, exactly. there's talks of Singapore hosting a World Cup in the future, but we are never going to do that if we don't grow our local football scene first.
Yeah.
The World Cup is a really serious thing, and Argentina, Brazil, USA, even USA right now, right? I think the reason they've got the World Cup, even though not a lot of people are happy about it, because they've grown their football scene massively. There are a lot of people who are more invested in it, in the sport. Of course, always the Latino community in USA, they've always been like huge supporters of football. But I think it moves to different demographics across USA. They move to even the smaller, like I would say, country states like Kansas and all that. They have huge football clubs, Kansas City, who are doing decent in MLS, and that's why people are engaged in it. And that's why they get to host the World Cup.
Yeah, and you can see how rapidly MLS Major League Soccer has grown over the years, right?
Yeah.
Last time
it's a retirement league.
It's a retirement league, and right now you can see Messi is going. Yes, I mean he's
no, but the young talents, the Ricardo Pepi,
yeah.
Haji, right? They all came from the MLS through the academies, and then they are sent out to Europe.
Yeah.
And even though in the short term you are losing these talents, technically the US is losing these talents from the league. In the long term, you are actually showing that you have potential to grow talent. So younger talents are more willing to move there. Like Thiago Almada, he's Argentinian. He moved to Atlanta United. No, not a lot of people will do that at such a young age. But he moved there, he proved himself, and then he got a big move to Flamengo, if I'm not wrong. So he would have never got that move so quickly if he had gone through the regular ranks in Argentina.
But I mean, definitely more has to be done in USA and in Singapore.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good.
But it's a good trend. It's a good trend.
It's a good trend. It's a good start.
The next one is there's a new international basketball league. So I actually didn't know this, and it's meant to challenge NBA, and it's being backed by Singapore's government and other investors. And it's the investment being put in is $5 billion.
So are they gonna create a league in Singapore or what?
I'm not fully sure about that. It's just a theory for it's just a league.
International basketball.
Yeah, it's international basketball.
So you can say it's like a World Cup for basketball.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, that's not a bad initiative, I think.
Yeah. Do you think it can compete with NBA?
Okay, but one sentence for that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't watch a lot of NBA, but I would say that it is
very hard to dethrone the NBA. There's a lot of there are like Greek leagues and stuff that I know of, but I've never seen that on my social media feed. But NBA stuff, I've seen a lot of it on my NBA feed, on my social media feed. So I think the outreach that NBA has in terms of pop culture as well is huge. Like the LeBron meme. People who have never watched a day of basketball will start calling LeBron my Pookie and shit, which is it's hilarious,
Yeah.
So the influence basketball has, even though I think it's not as good as soccer or anything else, I still think it has a huge influence, even on countries like Singapore, which doesn't have a huge basketball culture.
True. I mean, Singaporeans are. I would say we have a fairly large basketball culture.
Not as huge as
community, I'd say.
Yeah, not as huge as football or
That's
any
true,
other
that's
sport.
true. That's true. But it's growing. So I mean, to wrap to that headline, I would say it's fresh. One word.
Fresh.
I would say it's fresh because it provides that kind of new perspective to basketball, right?
And it's good. It's not sports washing.
Yeah, I mean,
because NBA,
yeah.
it's like we need competition for sports.
And yeah, I mean the only international league for them in a sense is Olympics, right? And I think it can be done more because this international league. So this is saying like example Lakers can face like a Euro League team.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm saying? Oh, okay. So it's like almost like a Champions League kind of thing.
That would be quite fun.
Yeah.
The next one is GTA 6 is delayed again. This time until May 2026. Is it ever gonna come out?
Not really. I'm not really surprised because I think a lot of developers are undergoing.
Yeah, I think Devil's Advocate, a lot of people had negative reaction, but I think if the game's not ready, don't release it. The same with the Spider-Verse movie. A lot of people want to see the third installation of that.
Yeah.
If it's not ready, please don't rush the animators and the game developers to release a product that they're not happy with.
They have to create a shoe club, man. Come on, man. They have to create a high heels club, man.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah, make it jiggly and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Take time with it.
Take time with it. Okay.
Take your time with it.
Okay, this is the last one, a bit of a serious one. Pakistan India ceasefire broken hours after President Trump declared it. So So both countries have reiterated their commitment to peace despite this, and so far, no other developments.
Well, I mean, that was a shock, to be honest. I mean, I do keep up with this kind of world affairs quite actively.
Yeah, out of all of my friends, I would say Ivan is the most clued up on all this.
But quite shocking that they are trying to go against each other again. I mean, they have been quite, I wouldn't say peaceful,
It's been on and off for a while, but in
quite
recent
calm.
times it's been quite calm.
Yeah,
I would agree.
It's been quite calm.
And
So,
it's
it's
you know, as an Indian myself, you know, it's crazy that, you know, despite all this time, these kind of feuds are causing like inter-religion hate. You know, a lot of anti-Muslim sentiments have been going around in India by the far-right Hindus, and I think, you know, they are saying like destroy Pakistan, down Pakistan, which is not the right message to send to people, especially if you're having an online platform. The message should be peace. It shouldn't be destroy
I mean,
or
everyone
destroy them.
can coexist.
Yeah,
You know
we're
what I
all
mean?
humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And there was this video, I don't know if it's in my city or another city, there's a bakery called Karachi Bakery. Karachi is the name of a town in Pakistan.
That's a very famous bakery.
Yeah, it's a very famous bakery. And then there was a video of these far-right Hindus trampling down Pakistan and destroying the sign. So at that point, it just shows how uneducated you are. The bakery has nothing to do with Pakistan. Just because the name is associated with the city, you're destroying it. When the owner is not even, might not even be a Muslim. You know? And so it's really stupidity at its finest. You're doing a hate march and vandalizing someone's shop when they have absolutely no relation to what's going on. It shows how out of touch and uneducated some people still are, despite this being a digital age. You know, it's as easy as just do a Google search, find out what is really going on, how you can help, rather than being a nuisance and destroying something.
True.
Yes. So with that, we are done for this episode. Let us know, would you like us to be more lighthearted, discuss more deep topics?
You guys
What kind of sports you guys want us to discuss? My boxing UFC fans, let me know if really you want me to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch boxing, but we can definitely get another guest lah.
Yeah.
Then-
We
then
have
carry
our
on
producer
this kind
is
of,
a martial artist himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to karate after this. So we will get a guest. Let us know who you want. If you want a guest on this podcast, just DM us. You can DM either my Instagram, his Instagram, or the podcast Instagram.
Just join us. man.
Yeah, and we can have a chit chat.
This is just a very casual conversation type shit.
And yeah, that was horror outro.
But okay, seriously, on a serious note, drop a comment or anything. That you guys
Share with
would
your
like
friends,
to-
family.
That you guys would like to see lah. You know, like if you guys want to talk, see more about this kind of debates on more serious things, you know, real world issues, or you want to talk about sports, you
Or
wanna talk
something
about-
just fun, like, you know, dilemmas, something. You just let us know.
Yeah, like Singaporean culture, things like that. Just drop us a DM, drop us a comment, anything. So, without further ado, anything else?
Yes, we have something.
Sure.
So with that, catch us next week. We'll be talking about anything lah.